So, Jared,
Yeah.
which knight invented King Arthur's Round Table?
Oh, we're doing this again? Which knight
Mm-hmm.
invented
King Arthur's Round Table.
King Arthur's Round Table?
Yeah.
I want to get one of these right, but because once I hear it, it's so obvious.
Mm-hmm. Circumference.
I forgot we were doing these. This is good.
Hey, welcome back to Screen Time. I'm your host, Josh. So, Jared, did you know I always go backwards when I'm backing up?
Yeah. I don't remember that. I don't remember him saying that.
Yeah, Jeff Bridges' character, Rooster, he said it when he was in trial. He's sitting there. And
Oh, okay. Oh, that was pretty early on then. Yeah, the trial, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
I was thinking that was later. Okay.
No. So yeah, what do you got?
Are you going to introduce me?
Well, yeah, sure. Sorry.
I thought you were...
Well, I
I thought
said
you were gonna
Jared,
say
but,
more
weird.
first.
No, sorry. Well, so this, for those of you listening, the other voice you hear is Jared, my co-host.
You must pay for everything in this world one way or another. There's nothing free except the grace of God.
Yeah, I wrote that one down too. Wasn't that like at the end though?
No.
Yeah, she says it again at the end.
Maybe she does. I didn't remember
She
that.
went,
But I
the
remember.
older version of her says it as like the outro monologue.
Right.
So, but it might
Is she the one that says at the beginning, though?
She might.
I thought it was some like random person says at the beginning. Not her.
I don't remember at the beginning. I remember it at the end.
That's when I wrote down like right off the bat.
The other one I wrote down was, "We have no rodeo clowns in Tell County."
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and then the other, if them men wanted a decent burial, they should have gotten themselves killed in the summer.
Yeah.
So today we are talking about True Grit, Coen Brothers from 2010, PG-13,
Getting close to the end now.
hour and 50 minutes.
Hour 50.
Yeah.
Right.
Getting close to present day almost.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right, our synopsis. A stubborn teenager enlists the help of a tough U.S. Marshal to track down her father's murderer. Very simple. We've got our directors, Joel and Ethan Coen. Writers, Joel and Ethan Coen. And then Carmack McCarthy?
Really?
No, I didn't delete that. I was like,
I was
the
saying,
guy
no,
from-
that was
that's the
No
guy-
Country.
Yeah, that's the guy
That's
from last
the
night. I didn't
novel
clear
it's
that
based
out.
on. I was
Yeah.
like, True Grit, I don't think is... I mean, I know it's an old
Charles
movie.
Portis, yeah, is the other writer.
Was it actually a book too, or was it just an old movie?
I think that's it. It was a book.
Okay.
And then cinematographer Roger Deakins.
Yep, he's back.
Carter Burwell, the music.
He's always back.
Yep. Production costs $38 million.
Okay.
So fascinating. This film was nominated for 10
I saw
Academy
that.
Awards.
Yeah.
Didn't win any.
Didn't
of
win
them.
any, but yeah, what are the 10?
Best Picture, Best Actor for Jeff Bridges, Best
Mhm.
Actress Supporting Role for Haley Steinfeld,
Steinfeld, that's good.
Best Director, Best Writing Adapted Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Costume Design, Best Sound Mixing, Best Sound Editing, and Best Art Direction.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always like to see what, I mean, we don't have to do that now, but I wonder what,
One.
yeah.
Yeah.
2010, I don't really,
I'm not sure.
yeah.
So we got Jeff Bridges, Haley Steinfeld, Matt Damon, Josh Brolin, Barry Pepper, and Dakin Matthews. Those are the ones I recognized. Anybody else?
Are those also from before that you just
No.
delete? Barry Pepper? I don't remember. Who is he in?
Lucky Ned Pepper.
Oh, that's what his name was. And then
Mhm.
okay, okay. Um, I have Domhnall Gleeson also in here. He's pretty young in this, but he's been in a lot now.
Yeah.
And I first saw him when he showed up in like the new Star Wars movies
Right.
as what's his name? I mean, he's in all three of the new Star Wars movies. Shoot, what's his name? Anyway, he's the redhead. That's this general. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah. So he's in this in one scene, but he's way younger. But
I got you. Okay.
yeah,
I didn't pick up
and
on
then
that.
I didn't even see this in the credits, but I could tell by the voice. The one letter she's reading, it's definitely J.K. Simmons. Did you recognize that? The voiceover.
I didn't pick up on that, no.
And I looked in the credits. I didn't even see him credited, but I was like, man, this sounds just like him. Maybe
Right.
it's not, but yeah, that's the only one I have. Well, I mean, that would make sense. Obviously, he's been.
Been a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, they would get him back. Or
Was this like the third movie of Josh Brolin?
no, not.
No?
No, not Josh Brolin. No, because he just started in No Country.
Oh, that was the first one? I think he was in something else.
No, but J.K. Simmons has been.
Yeah, he's been
He's
several.
been a lot. Yeah,
The second movie with Jeff Bridges, right?
Yep. It's been a while since
Yeah.
Big Lebowski.
Yeah. Have you seen this movie before?
No.
Me neither.
Yeah.
The original?
Nope,
older
never
one?
seen the
No,
original either.
Me neither.
I mean, I've heard of this movie.
I remember this movie came out because I remember, there was people that were like, why are they remaking it? Because
Yeah,
the original's
that's
so
always the
classic
case.
and that kind of thing. But yeah. All right. So then what were your overall thoughts on this film?
I don't. Okay, I'm going to go off the dome because I forgot to write down something in this spot. I really liked it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm not the biggest fan of Western movies,
Me neither.
but I think what really helped, we'll get into a lot of it as we go.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the cinematography.
Yep.
The score,
Mm-hmm.
which is surprising from our boy.
Our minimalist.
Yeah.
Composer.
Yeah. He went hard in this one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of it also it's the actors and the characters and how well everyone does in this is a big part of it. Especially Haley Steinfeld, because she's a big actress now, but
Right.
how old was she in this?
I don't know. I didn't look up
She's
the age.
playing a 14-year-old, I think is what they
Right.
said.
I didn't look up the age.
But I was like, man, she's so good in this.
yeah.
And it's like, I don't know if she did much before this, but yeah, and obviously Jeff Bridges was great in this, but we already know he's great.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'm like, what are you saying? Sometimes I could not understand what he was saying.
She was 14 years old.
That's impressive. I don't know. Does it show in there? Like, did she do much before this?
Oh,
Because she did very well in this. But yeah, so that's kind of my overall. I really liked it, and I think especially the ending. I thought it ended very well and like really actually stuck with me more than I thought it would. The ending, so
yeah, she did a handful of things
Okay.
before it. Nothing like major, but
okay. So yeah, that's it overall.
I
about
think kind of similar camp. I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
I think the strong performances and the character development of our kind of three lead people that we spend most time with, I think, are what really makes it enjoyable to watch. And
For sure.
the again, like we said, not westerns are definitely not my favorite, but was gonna say. Oh, and I think here's another one. I was just gonna mention that there was no goofiness and like the kind of cartoony stuff that they. It was pretty grounded as far as like.
Yeah, there's some comedy in it, but it's
Yes.
nothing.
Yeah, there's
you're
comedy, but it's like what. And then I also had a note about the thick accents. Sometimes I'm like, you could dial it back a little bit just to make sure I could, because I'm like, sometimes I'm like,
Do I need subtitles?
do I need subtitles on an English speaking? So
Yeah, I thought about that too.
I was like, yeah. Cool. All right. Well, then let's get into the specific spoilers for True Grit. Yeah. What are some of the notes you have on, or things you thought you liked? And
Well, I want to first off and say, what's our listener that wrote into us?
oh, Lynn, about
Lynn.
about this.
Yeah, because
He said, "Wait till
this movie."
His favorite score.
Okay, just favorite score. He didn't talk about like the movie as a whole.
I don't think he was mentioning the movie as much as just like he's like, wait till is pure genius or something. Like he said, wait till the score for this film.
Well, I'm just saying if he listens to this, I'm like, don't worry, I'm not gonna. We're gonna say positive things about this movie,
yeah,
and the score especially. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have too many notes. I don't know how much you have.
Yeah, I mean, so I have a note about we're opening on a monologue again, which is what they like to do. I mean, I think it works. I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it's just funny to
it's definitely
see
their thing now at this point.
There's definitely one of those things they.
Maybe it's also just like a lot of the earlier movies, or when they didn't have an opening monologue or like something like that to start the movie, they've tried it and they're just like don't really like it, or any other way they've tried to open a movie is just like didn't vibe with them, and they're like, and this is the only way we can start a movie and actually like it, and that's like what they go with.
Maybe, yeah,
because they haven't tried many other. They have, but it's like
there's some that didn't, but like there's
seems
a
like
lot
that's
of them
kind of how they want
there's a lot of them
do it.
That, right?
Yeah.
I just have another, again, great attention to detail in the period. Like, again, I think is something that they have really come to do well, whether it's them or whoever they're hiring to do it. But I think they get that
Yeah.
they really push for the small details and things in a period piece which a lot of theirs are. So.
Yeah. I had a specific note about that. I think it's done really well in this movie, and especially just the set design in general, and the especially the town. I was like, this town looks really good and real.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how many sets they had to do for that, you know, and what all is not there, or a backdrop, or CG, but I was like, this looks great. So, yeah, I agree.
It did also feel very, didn't feel very CG if there was any.
No, it didn't.
It felt very practical. I don't know how much of anything, but it did look very, very believable. I think we kind of mentioned this on the front end, but like the character development of our main characters especially was, I think, really good. And I also think it was just kind of, it was like this little ensemble. I don't know. They like doing that. Like, right. Like, I mean, this was a different, they're trying to go down a path, but, to find a killer, but you know, it's not that different than our little group of people going to try to find the treasure from like,
Brother
Without There, yeah. And like you just kind of have this. It's kind of like a
Big Lebowski was a trio, also.
Yeah, and it's just kind of, I mean, just interesting little tidbit.
Yeah. I had. This is pretty early on. I just really like the scene where we fully like see on screen Jeff Bridges' character Cogburn.
Mm-hmm.
in the trial, because technically we meet him first in the outhouse, but
Mhm.
it's just his voice when she
Mhm.
goes up to him and tries to talk to him. But I really like the trial scene overall in the beginning. I thought was uh, a really great scene to open
Yeah.
up, but then actually really show his character, because they go through so much
Yeah.
because he's on trial, and
Yeah.
like what he's been through and how he reacts to all that too.
Yeah, it's a good way to really bring the
Introduce.
viewers up to speed on like who this guy is. And also, I guess it's like another common thing. I feel like there was a note about that or something in one of the trivia's where they like to have trial scenes as well in their.
They do a lot of trial scenes, yeah.
Yeah. But um, didn't even think about till you mentioned it here.
Yeah, I didn't think about that either. Intolerable cruelty. The man, he wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Is it two off of the top of my head? I'm sure there's many more though.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just um. I think so. One of the things I thought was good also the like pacing of the film.
Yeah.
I think it, even though it had quiet moments, so to speak, it never felt slow or. And again, that kind of plays into like, good character development with especially the little trio that you kind of, even the scenes where they're just sitting around a campfire talking or whatever, it's engaging enough that you're not bored
And it could easily get that way because it's a lot of times they're just roaming or traveling.
Yeah.
Right.
Which and then to your point as well, cinematography really helps with that too,
Yes.
to keep it engaging. So, so love the scene when Maddie bargains for her father's ponies with that guy.
Yeah.
And again, speaking of like ways to kind of introduce the viewer to like the person, and even though we'd seen her a couple of interactions, that really shows
Her personality.
and her grit, if you want to say,
for sure.
and then I think that, and then not too long after that, when she rides the pony across the river,
Yeah, to catch up to them.
and
Yeah.
like just go for it, and that really shows like not just personality of like determination and grit, but like also in physically, like she's
Yeah. I have, when we get to themes and messages, like specifically with her, yeah, bravery is like a big thing with her throughout this whole movie, whether it's just something like bargaining with that guy, and her like people skills and the way she can manage to do that at her age, but also like all the different times when they're traveling, like that where you talked about where she had to cross all of that. I mean, revenge obviously is a big thing in this movie too.
for sure.
I liked the because it's kind of around that point in the movie. Also, I like the reoccurring bit of Maddie taking Cogburn's cigarette and like rolling it for him.
Yeah, yeah. She does that a couple times.
Like he always stars and then she just grabs and she's like, I can do this better. Yeah. And she does.
So the other the duel at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That was another standout scene that I really thought was done well with when Cogburn. Is that how you say Cogburn?
Yeah. That's his last name, but that's usually what it goes by. Yeah.
And he just, I mean, he's guns a-blazing in both hands and just charges at him, even though he's like going against four guys. And
oh, okay. So you're talking about the shootout.
Yes.
I thought not just the one-on-one, because I have a note about that too, which was like kind of a little bit before that, which is more of a one-on-one scene.
Between who?
It's the scene where Maddie's going to get water and first sees Tom,
Mm-hmm.
and then their interaction in the water there.
Yeah.
I thought that was another one of my favorite scenes, I would say.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, she shoots him
And it was great because that was a good what's the word? Uh, a good setup and then payoff to, I think it was two different people looking at the gun she has and saying like, what will happen if she shoots it? Like how much of a kickback it'll be and like what will happen. And then obviously that does happen when she shoots him, but she still ends up shooting him.
Yep.
Yeah. But then she like falls back into the water.
Yeah. Well, I had then when she confronts him at the end.
Yeah.
And then of course then she falls back into the pit. But like but that yeah, like just again the acting and the I guess even the framing and the cinematography there, like just the tension.
When she's down
tension.
in there?
Well, but when she's down there too, but before that, that's the tension, and you're just like, is she really going to do it? And then it's so, and you're like, it's so satisfying to see her shoot him.
It is.
And him fall off the cliff, basically, or whatever.
Yeah.
Even though,
it's kind of interesting because of No Country and how big that movie got.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know how it was when it came out, but I know it gained popularity over time. And I don't know, Josh Brolin, 2010 even, he's not in the MCU yet, right? So he didn't do Sicario yet. Like, I don't know how big he was, but I imagine he was pretty big at this point. Obviously, we know him from the Goonies when he was like all the way back then. He's in that. But I mean, this kind of newer Josh Brolin, that's, I guess you could say, his like second phase of his career, his second popularity. Interesting that like, he's really only in the end and not even for that long too. I kind of like when they do that with movies. They'll get like a pretty big actor and then, because he's on the cover too. Like you think, and then they were like, no, he's only going to be in a couple scenes and that's it. Yeah. So I think it's cool when movies do that.
Yeah, I agree. And then, like you alluded to this, but like, I think the ending was it was good.
Yeah.
And I also had like, it was very, very stark contrast to like last week's film's ending.
What was last week's? Wait, what was the last one we did? I'm already forgetting.
A very serious man or a serious man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm keep forgetting because No Country just came out, but yeah, I forgot we were behind on that. Yeah, we did a Serious Man last week.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one was. Yeah, you're right. Completely different. Yeah.
So open ended. So like nothing wrapped up. And
this is very final. This one.
This one's like and not even just but it's like let's jump 20 or 30 years in the future and show you where things are, and and so it was like a lot of closure and things like that, which is I think good. I don't know, just it was definitely more satisfying. I mean, again, fine with some things being not spelled out and just kind of leaving open ended, but like we talked about last week, I thought it was a little extreme, and
I agree.
Didn't care for it.
It was. And I mean, for something that's more kind of a more typical or older type of style of movie, like a Western, I think you kind of want to have more of a final conclusion.
Yeah.
Like with a Western, I don't really remember any Westerns, because you really wouldn't consider No Country a Western, that just end on like something that's just like, what? Like, that doesn't really have any finality to it. So, yeah, no, this ending's great. I actually have it's one of the last things she says in the ending. She says time just gets away from us. And man, when she said that, I was like, I didn't expect for this to really hit me as it did. That line, I was like, wow, that's a good line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It was one of the final ones before the song starts and the credits. I think. Whoa. Is that gonna go on Mike?
I don't know.
That might get picked up. Got a storm brewing outside. If
Yeah.
you might have heard that through the mics, maybe.
Yeah, some serious rumblage. Cool.
I only have one more note.
Yeah, well, I say that's it for my notes before I get into cinematography.
Okay. This was just one of the more comedic scenes, but I really liked the scene of them. Well, it starts with Cogburn throwing the cornbread to this guy and shooting it, because they basically are like, you can't do this, because of how he was, or the state he's in, right?
Yeah, he's drunk and he has a pat in one eye.
Yeah, and he does it though, but then eventually, what's his name, shoots it as well, right? I keep forgetting the other guy's name, Matt Damon's character.
Yeah. LaBeouf,
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I thought that scene was good, and he kept like
It was
throwing
good.
it higher and trying to get.
It was good. It was funny, and then he almost shoots them, right? Like
He does.
Like he gets so like turned around.
It's an interesting scene because when he starts, it's like, oh, this guy really is a good shot. But then, like, as he keeps doing it, you're like, well, he is, but at the same time, also, he's still like, by the end, he's like, oh, he's almost shooting them by accident. So it's a good contrast.
Yeah. All right. So getting into a little cinematography. Yeah. Roger Deakins really getting into his own. I think, and you can kind of see and hitting his stride, his peak, or whatever you want to say. Or I don't say peak because I think he's still doing great stuff. Yeah. But well, you can really see the growth in the last even 10 years in watching their films, and where he's really just stretching and doing things. But there were some really great, just wide open shots of the landscape and of to really sell the Western, which I think really helps the setting. And there was some crazy beautiful sunset type shots, and then also all the scenes with the snow and stuff too. It's just crazy, but of course I'm like, was it really snowing? But I don't know, because it ends up that Fargo they faked all that.
That's insane, and that didn't look like fake snow. This didn't either.
Yeah,
this
didn't. No, it didn't.
I don't know where they filmed all of they did, because I have a note about that too. Well, first of all, I do think, because he's done some other movies like this, I think this is the kind of movie he really knows how to shoot. I think he really gets the true Western feeling.
Yeah.
With the way he shoots.
Just the open landscape, right?
Yeah. That's how No Country started, right? With the voiceover at the beginning, and then all those sunset or sunrise.
You mentioned earlier, but Sicario as well, which he, just kind of just really does a good job of the wide establishing shots of and really giving set the tone of the space, where things are going to go, and does such a good job of lifting or doing the heavy lift of selling the setting for the films, right?
Yeah, they go through so many, because kind of what you're talking about, the snow. They go through so many elements, and all of them, I was like, man, this looks so good. Desert at one point, snow, rain. What else? There's at least one more.
I mean, she goes through the river to get. Yeah, she's drenched.
But it's just and all those. It's I can't imagine. Well, I'm sure you have to do all those very differently when you're shooting it, and then having them all look so good and still feel cohesive to the movie as well. Yeah. Is that gonna come through?
I don't know.
Okay, that's all right. That's all.
Lost my place. Where am I? Okay.
That's pretty much it I had for cinematography.
Yeah,
It's
I was just saying
in general.
the some of the campfire scenes, like always like
I was
low
going to ask
light,
you about
low
that. The
light
low
stuff,
light campfire.
but like the lighting on people always
Yeah.
looks really good.
Do you think he's one of the best at that? Because I know you've mentioned that specifically.
I mean, honestly,
Low light campfire scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he just does such a good job of the subtle light on people, like, and a lot of times it's close up on people's faces in those situations, and just they look good.
I saw another. It's funny, on my YouTube keeps recommending me these like really great things that have to do with like film, and like the one I told you about most recently, that was like movies that say no CGI is really just invisible CGI, which I still have not watched that whole YouTube video, but it's like this guy breaking it down, like, which I was like, that's great. But the one I just saw it was a picture of Tarantino and Deakins, and on Tarantino's side it says films and Deakins says digital. So is he really like a fan? I didn't know this, of only digital Deakins now.
I would
didn't know
say
if that was a thing.
only, but like I know
maybe he's a big advocate for it. Or
I know when we were looking at stuff looking into a lot of the things in his interviews with or
was he like an early adopter to digital? Maybe
because remember they were for what film?
Yeah,
it was Oh Brother Where Art
Oh Brother Art There, yeah,
they did, so
which would have been probably 99 if it released in 2000.
Yeah, so that would have been probably early for that, because then other than you have like the prequel movies of Star Wars, I know that those were like some of the very first films of shoot all digital.
Oh, that was 97.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like that.
Wait, no, it wasn't. 99 was when Phantom Menace came out.
Yeah, so
98 maybe.
So I think some of those were like early in that world too. So yeah, so it'd be pretty early to adopt it. But then I remember he was definitely advocating for it when they did. What's the one that it looks like all one take?
Oh, 1917.
1917, yes.
Yeah, because of the way
they wouldn't have been able to do it,
right, with a huge film. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so, for that reason, like I can see like it's like there's things that it allows you to do from a technical and storytelling standpoint that you just wouldn't be able to do. So,
well, yeah, I mean,
but
even just think about. I don't know. I just saw that. I haven't watched the video.
I don't know that he's like totally against film.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if someone was like,
the Tarantino thing makes sense though, because I think he still only does film.
That I think, I had heard that. Yeah.
But I mean, no, you're right. Like now, what you could do even with just a phone, video, like filming wise,
like all the Apple events, like they're filmed on iPhones.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, last couple of them. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's so cool. Like to just be able to do. I mean, you could do so much with a phone.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know. I think it's really cool. That's really a director that's really big into technology and actually moving everything forward is Soderbergh. Because he did do a movie recently that was all just shot on an iPhone. I remember. I don't remember the movie. I haven't watched it, but he did that. He always tries to do like newer things like that, which is coal, and I think he's really great.
Challenge himself to do something.
Director. Speaking of that, I'm going to write him down. I don't think I put him on our director list, and has a lot of great stuff.
The other
now before I forget.
Yeah. No, the other thing I wanted to highlight was all the shots. So good after she gets the snake bite, and they start. Down on there's some really pretty shots in there of like, because it's at dusk, like towards it, or like, well, a lot of it's at dusk because they're just riding forever, and just like these wide shots of the horse racing down across the landscape. I mean, they look really good.
That was really good.
Yeah, that's those are kind of my notes for the cinematography, and then I have one note for the score.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
well, I mean, I did enjoy it, but as soon as like this at the very beginning, I was like, this is the him leaning on the everlasting arms. So then I'm like, okay, but then he definitely was playing off of that. It felt like, but then like using that as kind of let's say like inspiration for like something, because then it'll be like something else, and it'll be like, it kind of sounds like it, but it's not. So it's like everything kind of to give it these like old hymn kind of feel.
You're 100% right. Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. The score is definitely all meant to, because the very beginning it does sound like that hymn. There's a couple notes that are changed though, so I think he's just going off of that. But
I mean, the quotes and credits, so then that's what they're singing.
that's true. So maybe I guess he is starting with that. But there were so many times in this, even though I still really love the score in this, it all just sounds like old hymns. And specifically why you're hearing that is because old hymns have a very specific melody, and actually like a refrain that they do at the end of every hymn, which I mean, I know you know, and I know too from growing up in church, that always has a specific thing at the end, and you know what I'm talking about. And he does that in the score a lot too. So a lot of the score sounds like an old hymn, just with no one singing, right? Kind of has like an old gospel feel too.
Yeah, which is kind of where they came from.
Exactly. Yeah. So, which I think is an awesome idea. And a lot of it's just piano, which is great, but then some of the strings and other stuff he adds in with it too later. It's more later, because a lot up top was more simple and mainly just piano, I want to say.
Okay.
But later on it got bigger, and like especially at the end I was like, man, this score's going hard, and it was really good. Especially I want to say probably the scene you're talking about where he's trying to
get her
on the
back,
horse, get her back.
With the bite,
yeah, it was really good.
Bite.
And then even the final, I would say the final cue, which would be right at the end before the credits start, and the song plays, because it's something different before that he's doing with the music, was really great too. So yeah, I think this is something that he's been like kind of working towards for a while, because I would say this is probably one of the most, like there's a decent amount of score in this.
Yeah.
Like it seems more like how much would be in like most movies.
Yeah.
Traditional movies, I should say. Yeah. So, yeah, shout out to our boy CB.
So would you say this is his best work? Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. No, I wouldn't say it's his best, but I would say that's definitely subjective and personal preference.
Yeah.
Because arguably this might be his best, although not nominated. It was sound mixing, right?
Yep.
That's interesting. But no, I think still, what was my favorite besides Fargo? I'm trying to remember. There's another one I said I did really like that was more recent.
Well, A Serious Man, like he.
Yes, it was. It was last week.
I think we both liked that.
Yeah, because there wasn't, again, that was kind of more in the middle, right? There's a little more score than normal, but
it's like that main theme.
Man, was so
such a good job. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect like tension with the what's going on screen. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see as we go in the next movie. Maybe he just goes hard from here on out. Maybe he was, you know what? I bet it was. He's just like, man, I got to get all this music out, because right before that was No Country, where he literally had nothing. He's like, I got to just get it out. I have all these ideas.
Yeah. So themes and messages.
I kind of already said what mine. Yeah, it was, and it's mainly because you can, from the three of them, I think it's very different. Kind of what they're dealing with. So I was mainly thinking it from Maddie's standpoint, was what I was talking about with bravery and kind of her maturing as a person. But then revenge, which obviously they get involved with as well. But I mean,
yeah,
it was ultimately her trying to get, revenge on her father. So, or for her father. So that's kind of the main things. But the other characters too. I don't know. I was trying to think from Tom's point of view, but we don't get a whole lot from him.
No.
Or like why, or he doesn't really talk much and explain like.
No.
So, yeah. What about you?
So I kind of put the kind of moral gray area between justice and revenge, and just kind of that's where like because it's like there's a lot of that opening trial, even with Jeff Bridges' character. You kind of like where he's like, yeah, how many guys you shot? And he's like, oh, I don't even know, and then they're like,
he's getting higher.
Yeah, and, and it's like, he's doing a form of justice, like, and he's following through, but he's justifying these shootings and killings that in that thing, and of course some people would say that's wrong, and I think definitely Matt Damon's character is definitely a little bit more on the like, hey, no, like you kind of, but then he shot some people too, and then of course she's going for revenge to kill somebody just because or she doesn't kill him, but then she ends up killing him, right, or really just want to bring him to justice, and then probably he would probably get hung and or hanged in the.
I forgot about that scene too, the hanging scene in the beginning of the movie.
I kind of forgot too. Like it was interesting, but then like
it was
just so many other things. But I just think like to me, I was like, as the more I thought it was like, oh, this like kind of back and forth of that moral gray area of like what is justice and what isn't, and what's we justify killing people in a war, but then like you can't just go kill your neighbor because then you're gonna get thrown in jail, or in some states probably put to the chair or whatever, death penalty. So like, where is that? And then I think they play with that line and kind of with the characters, and even like I said, with our main lady, kind of shifting, like her plan all along was kind of bring them to justice and let the court or whoever decide, and then in the end she ends up shooting him, right? So,
well, it's also, you think about this time period. I mean, this was like the most lawless time period, right? So it's like there's not much you can do. So there's a lot of morally gray, or just people doing whatever they want because there wasn't as many consequences then, right? Because I was trying to figure out the time period, because they don't say, but then they say at the end when she's grown up. Or no, it says it on his tombstone.
Right, that's what
when he died. Yeah. So it was like, it's like 1906 or something. So,
so in like what, 20, 30 years before,
right? That. Yeah. So yeah, that's like
1870s, 1880s, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, it makes me want to play Red Dead Redemption. That's that. Do you ever play those games?
No.
You've heard of them though, right?
Yes.
Right. It's just like GTA, but you're a cowboy, essentially.
Yeah. No, I've definitely heard of them, and
especially the second one is like it's
more,
it's
the
incredible.
One that more recent came out. Yeah.
I mean, it's old now though. It came out in like 2018, but that was the second one. Yeah. It's so good.
I remember people talking a lot about it.
Yeah, it's so good. Very realistic too.
So should we do some trivia?
Yeah.
Let's see what we got here for trivia.
It's normally down with like the quotes and everything else.
Because of child labor laws, Joel and Ethan Coen were unable to film any scenes past midnight with Haley, especially difficult because the movie contains many night scenes, and because of scheduling problems, anytime there is a shot of another character over Maddie's shoulder or back, Maddie is played by an adult double, not Haley. So that's, I guess, the makeup for that time. 15,000 girls applied for the role of young Maddie. She was 13 years old when she was cast.
Jeez.
It was her theatrical feature film debut.
She crushed it.
Way to do it, yeah.
Yeah, she crushed it.
The original True Grit, in 1969, the character of Rooster Cogburn is supposed to be around 40, but both John Wayne and Jeff Bridges were in their early 60s when they portrayed their roles. John Wayne was 62, Jeff Bridges was 60.
Hmm. I mean, it makes sense. Like an older guy like that playing that role.
Yeah.
I feel like it wouldn't be the same if it was just a 40-year-old, playing that character.
Yeah. As of 2019, this movie was the most profitable at the box office among the films directed by the Coen Brothers by a wide margin.
Wow.
This is made the most money. It's crazy to think because some of those ones were really low budget compared to. I mean, they made some that were higher than this, but this one wasn't cheap compared to like a lot of their other ones. But I guess it just did so well in the.
I mean, definitely the cast too. I mean, just Jeff Bridges and Matt Damon alone, and Josh Brolin. I'm assuming Haley Steinfeld probably didn't get paid that much if she was younger
so
and not
along
done
those
much.
lines, this is the first Coen Brothers film to gross over 100 million in the United States.
Wow.
Oh, here you go. J.K. Simmons voices J. Dobble Daggett, Maddie's lawyer, which is the voice that you were talking about.
When they were reading the letter. Okay, cool. So it was uncredited then, because I couldn't find him in the credits.
No computer-generated special effects were used in the creation of the town of Fort Smith. The town of Granger, Texas was used as a double in the movie due to several sections of the city still displaying the period city planning with wide streets. The art department did painstaking efforts to add details. Fake buildings were built between existing ones, and existing buildings were painted or redressed with facades to give them the correct period appearance. Sand was put on the cobblestone streets to get the appearance of dirt roads. 20th century telephone poles were either removed or redressed as trees. Since the movie takes place in the winter, the leaves of one of the trees came into frame during the hanging scene had to be picked off by hand. Finally, a small stretch of railroad was built for a period train that was brought in from a museum. So they went over
yeah,
detailed.
that's awesome. I mean, it definitely shows, but like something like that where they're talking about the hanging scene, like just do that in post. Like, wouldn't that have been easier for something like that? Just to remove that. So they're saying there's no. Is this another debate film where there's no VFX at all?
I didn't say it. Just said for that. For
the town, right? No, I would say there has to be VFX.
This is another interesting one based on what we were talking about earlier. This was the last film that the famed cinematographer Roger Deakins shot on film before switching to digital technology. So this movie was filmed on film. And now I remember actually saying that. Now that they said that, the "Oh Brother, We're Out There" was all the film was scanned in so they could desaturate or do something so it was still shot on film. It wasn't shot digitally. But
and then I remember
the color grading type stuff in digital.
And I remember us talking about it with the man who wasn't there because they shot it on color film. And then what did they do to? I can't remember.
They didn't do it in I don't think they did it in post.
No, that's why it was something very specific they did with it. But
yeah,
it's cool.
Stereotypical cowboy hats were purposefully not used in the film, as they would have been considered out of place in the film setting. The original True Grit, and it's from 1969. Rooster Cogburn wears his eye patch on his left eye. In the remake, the eye patch is worn on the right eye, which is true to the novel.
Oh. They just make that big a mistake in the original movie.
This is interesting.
That'd be funny.
They Haley Steinfeld was cast as Maddie Ross because out of all the kids who auditioned, which what did they say, like 13,000 or something, some stupid number, she was the only one who was able to handle the sophisticated script, said the producer Scott Rudin, despite her multiracial heritage, including, well, the role called for her to portray Caucasian. All right, I think.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting. It was funny how there's a couple trivia things that overlapped with things we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool. What is any final thoughts of this film?
No, another one that I was. This is like number 3 now for us, or that like didn't know anything going into it and actually enjoyed it. You know.
Yeah.
We got a couple of Coen ones like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they definitely gotten better recently. Like
I think I think the big thing is what we were talking about. I don't remember on which movie. We said there's definitely a maturity to them in a lot of these newer movies.
And finding the right balance with the comedy without it going too goofy.
Yeah.
I think really helps. But yeah. All right, well, next movie.
Oh yeah, what is next movie?
Inside Llewyn Davis.
Oh, I
don't even know. Like I don't even see the cover art right yet. Like I haven't even looked at it.
I haven't either. I've heard the name. Isn't it like a biopic or something?
I have no idea.
I don't. Okay, I don't remember.
I don't know. We'll find out.
I don't know. How many more do we have left? We got that one, then Hail Caesar.
Hail Caesar, yeah.
Which I have seen. I like that movie a lot. I think there's only one more after that. No, that next one would be the Netflix one. Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Yeah.
I never saw that one. Yeah. And then it's Tragedy of Macbeth. That's the last one. That was an Apple.
So a few more weeks.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
But we do need to pick a next director to cover. So
yeah, right in. Let us
do you
know
have one you want to suggest? We got a few weeks to figure it out, but definitely let us know if you have thoughts on that, and you can do that, or any thoughts on our comments or anything about this week's episode or even a previous one. We'd love to discuss your thoughts and feedback. So you can write in at feedback@screentimepod.com or leave a comment on a YouTube video. If you'd like to follow any of us on Instagram, I'm at Jay Youngbar.
And I'm at Jared Youngbar.
All right. We'll talk to you guys next time.